To my stomach with that. You were not fighting for the freedom and independence of black people. Soldiers, black soldiers in segregated companies lost their lives on foreign soil there, but would have to come back and fight just to get a bite to eat. You're nothing but hypocrites, and you won't pull that small-time stuff over me.
Peace and blessings, beloved black family. In the name of the God, the compassion, the merciful.
A true warrior in the cause of black struggle. Why can't you feel the pain of the black Holocaust?
Blessed with melanin. The Holocaust.
Today, we hope to have something special take place. Special for the family.
There will be a battle between black and white.
Peace and blessings. There we go. All right. This is your brother Abdul Wadud, aka Questman. Once again, before you, I greet the family. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shalom, Hotep, peace be with you. And with that said, as you can see, the title today for today's topic is For Unity We Must Know. That's the series. Every day, life breathes us a new lesson. That's the title. That is the title. Okay. So let's do a little something here. Got a lot on my mind today. Even more on my heart. And so, there may be the appearance of fatigue. But, we got to keep going. We got to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, have a hot cup, keep on going. All right? We've got work to do, black family, and we don't have no time to drag around. And as they say, dilly dally. We have no time for vanity, right? We got to keep our focus on the road. Well, what can I say? I have been dealing with a bit of frustration lately. I'm kind of, I don't know, a little bit perturbed, I guess you could say, the way social media works. I come from a generation where you meet people, you talk to people face to face. You get you might call them on the phone, something like that. You get the page, remember the old little pagers, and you come out and hang out. You meet friends, family, and everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows you. You get to know each other so much so that you start to recognize. You know each other's behaviors. You know each other's personalities. If somebody makes a certain look, you're like, hey, hold on, what's up, brother? What's up, brother? You looking down over there? You looking like you going through it. This type of interaction is what I'm talking about. That ends up missing on social media when we're chatting, when we're texting, when we're doing things like that. You don't really notice the vibe that the person has. And as a result, one of the things that I've been learning as of recently, people are quick to misunderstand you. And I think that if we actually knew each other better, like if we knew each other, like how the brother is, how the brother talks, or his way of words, or his way of walk, or her way of this, that, and the other, you know what I mean? We'd be able to socialize a lot better. You know what I mean? We would be more likely to be family, friends, social. But when we're reading words on a screen or on a phone, and the only way you can understand how someone feels is because of an emoji or something like that, to me, that's very limiting. You understand? It's very limiting. Um, when you see a person face to face, you know what I mean? Like I said, you can see their facial expression. You can see if they're happy, if they're sad, if they're, going through a hard time. You can see this, just by because they're in front of you. You can see their body language, um, all these features that you don't get to see when you're looking at a text. And that's kind of the things. One of the things that I've experienced recently, and it's very very frustrating because I feel that there are many real warriors, soldiers, and we're out here trying to network, we're out here trying to connect and build bridges, and all it takes is someone to misunderstand a text or a chat or some chat feed or something like that. All it takes is for that, and boom, your friend today, a foe tomorrow, and when the smoke clears, it didn't really make any sense anyway, and there should be no reason why we should be no more than just family and friends anyway. You understand? When you know you're real, and you know the other brother's real and the other sister's real, we ain't got no excuse but to be family. We allow too many things to get in the way, of our agenda, and we end up losing focus. You understand? You know, as they say, in the movies, we're on the same team. You understand? We're fighting the same battle, and I think that we miss a lot of that when, this is our way of trying to communicate with one another. That's another reason why I'm so adamant about the family getting together. You understand? Meeting face to face, seeing one another. You understand? There's a benefit in that. There's a blessing in that can't be substituted by, even something like this live chat. This live chat, you see me on the screen and everything. And this is a step up better than if we were sitting here just texting and whatnot. Like I see the messages, I see the family, shalom, salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam. I see all that, but I don't know how anybody feels. And even if you put an emoji up, you might be crying the blues, but I wouldn't know it because all I see is the emoji with your attempt to express, maybe you're laughing at a joke or who I don't know what's going on. All I know is I see what the words show and what the emoji show. You see the fist, okay, we assume black power. See the heart, we assume love. When you see the rose, you assume something nice. But the thing is that sometimes you're typing and you're writing, and your intended expression or your intended meaning of a word gets completely missed because this is what we get limited with. Like I said, if we were with amongst each other and we're knowing each other, we know how each other is, we know how each other talks, you know we get comfortable with each other, and you feel comfortable and relaxed where you can talk yourself with one another. You understand? That's the type of family closeness that we need. You understand? We're so rigid, man. We're all, everybody's, bottled up in their own communities, their own cliques, their own groups, their own this, their own that, and anybody that's not a part of that or didn't grow up like with this group or that group, they're outsiders. You know what I mean? And maybe we're, at the doorstep of friendship or alliance building, but like I said, one false move, one false soundbite, one false anything, and immediately, boom, just like that. And it can't be that simple. It can't be that simple. Like I said, the matters are greater than you know our failure to understand one another in a proper way, and it's all around the board. You understand? You know, I'm. There's a lot that I'm learning when it comes to dealing with the community because here in Ohio, there's brothers and sisters. You know how they are. You know their ways, and you get familiar with them. But one of the things I learned when I travel to like New York or when I travel to Chicago, people are different. Their vibes are different. What makes them flow is different. You know what I mean? The things that are important to them are different, and it's a learning experience. It's a learning experience, and as I mentioned, that's the title. That's the title today for today's topic. So yeah, the struggle is so very real, family. The struggle is real. It's a struggle, not only to communicate in a way that we all are able to connect, but to be able to, broaden our scope and realize that this unity is going to require great levels of tolerance towards each other. None of us are alike. You understand? Nobody's alike. Nobody, each community, you go to Georgia, you go to Texas, you go to Florida, you go to, the brothers and sisters in Louisiana, and every community has something unique about them. They had a show on YouTube the other day where they were going across town to different black communities, to just so you could hear their different linguistic sound. You understand? And everyone has something. There was always something different. From town to town to town, there was always something different that was demonstrated from the people of that town. So yes, life is a lesson. You know, my struggle is a heavy struggle all by itself. Um, I reflect upon this particular narration. It's attributed to a man. We call his name is Muhammad. We identify him as a prophet. Peace be upon him. A man came to him and was reported to have said, "What can I do to be pleasing to both Allah, God, and to the people?" And the prophet replied, "Give to the people what is theirs, and give to Allah what belongs to Allah." Well, for me and my perspective, the whole of existence belongs to the God. You understand? But the expression "give to the people," you're being in a service to the people. You understand? You're being of service to the people. Your task is for them and not for your own self. So, with that said, it had me reflecting. It had me thinking through my frustrations, through the challenges of dealing with social media as opposed to person encounters. When many of you may know, okay, and I don't like to use this as some kind of like a title on my forehead, but they know I'm an email. You understand? And the thing about that, is you're in a masjid, a mosque, and when you're giving a khutbah or when you're talking, when you're giving nasiha, advice, whatever, you're in front of physical people. You understand? It's not like right now I'm not in front of anybody. I'm in front of a camera. You understand? And it's a bit different when you're in front of people. One, the people more than likely, more likely, them. They're your congregation. They're your brothers and sisters of the community. You know them. They know you. They know how. If you're amped up, this brother, this imam, he gets amped up sometimes. That's just how he is. They know you. You understand? But we're in a the scale is a bit broader when doing a live broadcast of this nature. So it's a bit of an experience for me. It's also an experience for me when we're dealing with newer generations of people that have they have different customs. You understand? They have different customs. They have different ways. They have different just ways that they operate. So it's a lot to get used to. It can be exhausting. It can be exhausting. you know. But it's a job we have to do. You understand? It's like this. I don't necessarily know that I ever asked to be a quote unquote activist. I never asked to be an imam. I never asked to be anything. I don't see myself as a leader. You understand? I don't see my. I'm not. I don't say, "Oh, I'm a leader. I'm ha. Here I am. Follow me. Do what I say." Nothing like that. For me, I'm an individual. Trying to make sense out of the life that I'm living, trying to be a good husband, trying to be a good wife, not a good wife, trying to be a good father, trying to be a good friend, trying to be a good brother. You understand? And is a struggle, trying to be a good son. My mother's still alive. Trying to be, a good neighbor. You understand? And all these people I mentioned are different kinds of people. A mother is different from a neighbor. A neighbor is different from a wife or your children. Different kinds of people, family. It's a struggle. But like I said, it's something we have to do. And the thing is when you get pushed into a task, you understand, you can't run away from it. You can't run away from it. It's like I don't know if any of you know the story of Eunice, also called Jonah. In the case of Jonah, he was ordained a divine task to communicate prophecy, if you will, to the people of Nineveh. And Jonah looked at the people of Nineveh, and he was like, I ain't going in there. Look at the people. Look at what they doing. I think I'm gonna. Hey, taxi. No, he went and got on a boat. Got on the boat, tried to get up out of there, and the God wasn't having that. Like, nah, I told you to talk to the people of Nineveh. So you're gonna talk to the people of Nineveh, or we're gonna rock the boat. So next thing you know, the boat starts rocking and everything, and the people started wondering, like, "Dad, Cody, what's going on? We was fine." Next thing you know, they started drawing straws to try to figure out, who might be responsible. And guess who it was? Jonah, Eunice. So he agreed, to make a long story short, go ahead, toss me overboard. Can you imagine that? It gets that serious that you agree. Like, okay, fam. Okay, fam. It's my fault. It's my bad. It's my bad. Go ahead, toss me over the board, over the boat. So they tossed him over the boat. Mind you, the storm was all chopping up and everything. Soon enough, a great fish came and swallowed up Jonah. Soon as that happened, the waters calmed down, the waters quieted, everything was smooth, business as usual, right? Meanwhile, Jonah had to rest his neck in the belly of a fish. It says fish, samak is fish, right? Um, at the bottom of the sea for 3 days and 3 nights. Now, there's more to that story, more symbolism to that story than meets the eye, especially for those of us who know of the Messiah, Yeshua, the Messiah. You understand? And the prophecy that's associated there. Okay, that's some other time. That's for me, signs and symbols, signs and symbols. Okay, but the point is, eventually he, tapped out. Okay. He tapped out, and on the third day, he was tossed ashore. And of course, he wasn't trying to go through that again. Off to Nineveh, off to Nineveh, and he went and did what he did, and the people in the whole town turned around. You understand? The whole town, changed their ways or whatnot, and listened to what he was coming with. So that's what it is, family. That's what it is. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned. The difference between speaking of how I am now live, how I am to you live versus speaking through live chat. There's a big difference. You know, um, and I just have to drive in the importance that as a family, we say we're family. We call each other brothers and sisters. You understand? We call each other brothers and sisters. Then we need to start behaving more like family and not adversaries. No one here. We say we're about black unification. You understand? Then if that's the case, all those within the fold of that agenda were not enemies to one another. You understand? We may be very different. That much is true. We may be very different on so many levels, different in knowledge, different in wisdom, different in, you know, customs, different in values, different in principles, and so on and so on. But we're on the same team. You understand? I'm not here to make an enemy out of any one brother or sister that say they about black unity. I don't care what you believe. I'm not against what you believe. I'm not, here to challenge what you believe. Like the man said, just be black. I'm here for the sake of unity. You understand? I didn't show up. My apologies, my bad. Your brother's not an angel. I didn't show up, declaring that I was an angel. And I didn't show up declaring perfection. I don't declare, mastery over anything. You understand? A brother, a part of the struggle, just like you are. A brother, a part of the struggle, just like you, family, brothers and sisters. So much to think about. Life is a lesson in and of itself. The reward here is humility. It cannot be learned. If I think myself perfect, let me say that again. It cannot be learned if I think myself perfect. It is most often learned through mistakes. Through trial and error, we find something of our real self. You understand? The different layers start to come off through trial and error when you start realizing and acknowledge, where you fall short. You know what I'm saying? It's easy for people to identify your strength, like, oh, brother's talented, sister's artistic. You understand? And everybody, of course, they give you a nice hug when you do good, but the minute you make a mistake, the minute you slip and fall, everybody's got something to say. There's all, it's like you just get rained and dumped on with no mercy, no nothing. Whatever you did throughout your life, you could have built the Empire State Building, but let you do one error, let you slip on one line, or let you make one mistake, and all of that is completely forgotten. All of that is completely forgotten. Whatever achievements you've done, forgotten. You understand? And the thing is, I often believe in I believe in the golden rule: do to others what you want for them to do to yourself. It doesn't always manifest in accordance to the way I would like, but that's my strive. That's my strive. Sometimes you feel like giving up everything. Sometimes you feel like giving up, family. Sometimes you feel like tapping out. Sometimes it gets overwhelming. You look around and it just seems like, you know, nobody's getting it. Nobody's getting this. But your heart insists. You cannot give up. Sometimes you feel you struggle 2 steps forward, but the wind of your own errors push you 4 steps back. See, don't think of the 4 steps back as a negative. Sometimes you need those 4 steps back just so you can observe all that you missed that caused you to make the mistakes in the first place. You know, I've listened to some people give some very strong, powerful advice. Somebody was talking about the elders and how the elders, would be on you. You know what I mean? If you even looked like you was about to step out of line, say something wrong, or anything, they would be on you. And you end up learning from this, to basically mature your way of, interacting with other people. You understand? And I think that's wisdom there. There was some very powerful wisdom in here in that. And that's how I am. Like I said, life is a lesson, and how else are you going to get it? By living and experiencing it. You end up learning things that you really didn't know before. So sometimes, like I said, sometimes you feel you struggle 2 steps forward, but the wind of your own errors push you 4 steps back. Whether you cry within or without, only you feel the pain. One thing I've learned: words are more likely than not to cause someone injury if not handled with care. Now, I see why the people of wisdom spoke so few of them. You ever look in history, most of the wise folks, they didn't have too much to say. Some of the wisest folks today, we don't know about them because they ain't on all these lives talking. They behind the scene. You understand? No, boots on the ground, perhaps. But they don't have too much to say. Most of what they got to say is in what they do. There was a man who was going around asking for information about the life of the Prophet Muhammad during his time, and some of the people who had walked with him, they didn't want to say anything. You understand? Because they wanted to be careful that their words were actually truthful, so that if they said something about someone they believed to be holy, that their words were handled with care and that they did not err. Now, here in our case, in our time, we use words so freely. We use words so loosely, and before you know it, you done said something that once it's out there, there it is. Ta-da! Can't get it back. So, thus the reason why the people of wisdom spoke so few words. Why must I be strong? Not for my own convenience, but for the sake of those who would benefit from my strength. My strength is for my people. My intelligence is for my people. My life is for my people. And so in this, I learned yet another lesson, what it means to strive and fight in the cause of God. You understand? Whatever my abilities are, whatever your abilities are, we should be utilizing them. In my humble opinion, my humble advice, we should be utilizing them in the service of our people. You understand? In the service of our people. Otherwise, the wicked would enjoy if I just sat down and throw in the towel. You understand? The wicked would enjoy that. That's what the wicked want. That's what the people, that's what our adversaries want. They want you to tap out. You understand? They don't want you to continue on with your efforts towards black unification. They're not interested in that. They want you to tap out and surrender. You understand? And the stronger your stance, you understand, the more you push forward, you understand, the more that enrages them, even frightens them, and concerns them. So I can hear the heavens calling towards a much greater joy. What do we struggle for? Make sure it is for success for the long haul and not some minute satisfaction. These words I'm saying, black family, they may not benefit all, but they're being said because these are some of the things that as I walk in my life, you understand, I write something down, I ponder, I reflect upon certain experiences, and these are the words that come. These are the words that come. So, but who am I said? Who am I in this life? I have made some cry. I have offended many, though my intentions meant to be brotherly. Once you put your words into the air, they cannot be prevented from the ears they reach. Once written and observed, the eyes have seen. Your intentions don't matter here. Nobody asks, well, what did you intend? What did you intend? They don't ask you that. They just go by what's out there. The fire of hurt burns, stings you back if it can. I have watched and observed both mercy and wrath manifest. Makes you sit and think about what you did, what you do, and what you intend to do. Life never tires with lessons, birthing failure and success. Brotherhood and sisterhood, family ties at large, yet it seems distant and limiting communication, working against us. Unity is better when we are with each other and can share in person. Again, I hate texting versus a good conversation in the presence of family. Me seeing your happiness versus you texting you are happy is much greater an experience to me. Sometimes I might walk so fast I trip over my own shoestrings. The folly not being in me tripping, but my failure to tie my own shoes tight enough in the first place. Again, if you expect an angel of your brother, you've come to the wrong person. To me, this life is amazing, frightening, exciting, frustrating, on and on. But there's little time to watch the scenes go by. You hug just for a split second. You fight for just a split second more. You gain, but you hardly have time to hold on to what you gained before it's gone. It makes no sense to simply struggle, to stand up for my own benefit alone. And so inspiration compels me to seek out ways to do for others, so I can't even complain, since even that is short lived and a waste of time that I could use in the service of the cause to the benefit of the black family. I contemplated, thought about it, and I said, ants are among the smallest creatures of the earth. Yes, ants are among the smallest creatures of the earth, and yet have no trouble working together in unity. Each knows its part to play, and plays it well without any complaints. I joy over counting 1,000 successes until I sit next to one who has smiles over having only counted one. I complain of the pain of one suffering till I meet one who smiles over 101,000 sufferings. Often looking bigger in my own eyes till I see the mirror, ill shaped and so revealing only lies. The moment when I remember that I am still just a human being, not free of error, innocent and guilty at the same time, humbles me, makes it so that I'm not too quick to bear any titles such as leader or chief. Reminds me of a time when I saw a rock on the ground. I was a little boy and wanted to move it off the pavement so that people wouldn't trip over it. Unfortunately, someone else near the stone saw it and thought that I intended to throw it at them, and so they threw it back at me, injuring my eyebrow. The lesson? In this world, it doesn't matter what you intend. People only see what you do and hear what you say, often much clearer and louder than you of yourself. It's only the God that knows the inner workings of your nature, of your being, of your heart, of your intention. This is why it is so important to gain knowledge. There is so much in life that we fall short of understanding, so many assumptions made. So, beloved black family, a few things I wanted to share. I do have a special guest waiting for us. I'm a little hot. It's about, I think it said 80, between 80 and 90 degrees today. Although I can't complain because I heard the people on the West Coast had a heat wave coming in. So I know you're burning up over there. But it's hot. You understand? Even with all the air blowing around, it's hot to me. Um, so we do have a special guest. Yes, indeed. We do have a special guest, and I definitely want to make sure we welcome him. I want us to be mindful and make sure that we're steadfast for the cause. It's like this. There's a saying that a person can live their entire life righteously, and then on their last day, before they die, they committed wickedness. You understand? And then there's people who live their entire life in wickedness, but on their last day, they manifested righteousness. So nothing is guaranteed, family. That's my point. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. Your friends today can be your enemies tomorrow. Your enemies today could be your friends tomorrow. People you thought were, authentic, you find out otherwise. People you thought weren't authentic, you find out otherwise. We have to go with what we know. We have to support the cause and stay focused on the cause bottom line. You understand? When we see each other, the thing is, we have before us what we do. You understand our actions. And we have to continue pressing that our actions be in synchronization with one another. I'm only expressing the lessons that I'm learning, in my life through observation, through walking the path that I'm on. I'm not a master of any of it. I don't declare that I'm a perfection of any of this. My struggle is to perfect and to live and strive to manifest what I stand upon. It's not easy. It doesn't always happen according to plan. But one thing I don't do is give up. So, with that said, I'm going to take a break, beloved family. And inshallah, when I come back, we will invite our guest. Our guest is a brother who goes by the name of Spite. And the brother has been notably active in the community, striving hard to do his part. You understand, and to do what he can, for the cause. So I want to definitely make sure we welcome the brother as best as we can. One of the things I can encourage that as we talk, that if any of the people in this chat, in this feed, has any questions for the brother, you understand? Make sure you put these questions up so we can see them, and I would definitely present them to the brother if there be any questions other than the questions that I have of my own. And with that said, I will be back. There we go. You can't hear me without a mic, right? Okay. So let's do a little adjustment here. All these little tricks and stuff on this program. Now, before I introduce this brother, let us do something here. I want you guys to see this video clip, but let me make sure he's in the room first. Excuse me. Let's see here. All right, I want to make sure he can get in the room without any problems. Let's see here. So I want you guys to check this out real quick. This little broadcast. Hold on a second. He's trying to get in the room. There we go. Let's go ahead and give the brother this. All right. Check this out, beloved family. Hmm. All right, hold on 1 second, brother. Hold tight. Stand by. All right, good to have you on here. Got the brother on the live here. Before I bring you on, I'm gonna show the family a news clip here real quick. Hold on 1 second. Hold tight 1 second. So let me make sure I could do this right. I got all these windows open. Can you hear me? All right, good. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think they could hear it.
The spokesperson told us the NFAC is a
Let me play that
strong,
again.
law abiding organization that does not espouse investigated what unites NFAC members. And
All
we
right.
found out its members
If y'all
across
can
the
hear this in
nation
the
are
live, let
armed.
me know.
They protest racial inequity and police brutality, and they demand police transparency. After our investigation into Wallace's involvement aired on Thursday, the NFAC responded, saying they kicked Wallace out of the organization in January. In a statement, a spokesperson told us the NFAC is a strong, law abiding organization that does not espouse anti Semitic, left, or right wing views.
He's a great father. He's a great guy in the community. I mean, this has never happened before.
Brandon Oliver says he is one of Wallace's good friends. He believes there is more to this story, and he's demanding to know what led to police approaching Wallace on Wednesday.
They want him dead, but nobody wants to hear his story. Everybody thinks he's a bad guy. You know, he's a criminal and this and that. Nobody knows. They just know he shot a police officer and he's wrong. But you got to look at the first picture. Why was the police officer even bothering him from the first place?
Okay. So there's that. All right. So next up, beloved family, I would like to introduce our guest. He goes by the name of Spike, and the brother, like I said, he's been, doing what he do. You understand? Um, by his words, provoked by atrocity, not more than a vessel to exact revolutionary planning, and you know, from what I have learned about the brother, he's adamant about standing up, for the black cause, the cause of black unity, the black movement. Got a little echo going on. All right, salam, shalom, brother. Welcome. Let me make sure you can be heard.
Shalom and Black Power.
Yes, indeed, Black Power. Uh, would like to welcome the brother on. Um, Let me go over here. First of all, how are you doing, brother? Let's start by doing that. How are you doing? How's the brother doing today?
Uh, I could be better, but I'm alive. I'm being captivated, and I'm being provoked uh, to make sure that these efforts are continued. Yeah, I'm alive,
Yes,
which is
indeed.
most important. You know, the essence of humanity is something that makes the gods envious. You know what I mean? We don't know what's gonna happen the next day. We don't know what's gonna happen the next minute. You know what I mean?
You're
So
right.
it's a very challenging time, but there's nothing greater than being black.
What does that mean? Being black. What does that mean?
Being black is an identity to myself personally. I identify as black. I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people think that it's unhealthy,
Hmm.
but I feel like that's a common unifier. We hear that's the phrase that a lot of people argue that black, as far as what it means in the English language, is something that's ugly. But a lot of things that have to do with the English language mean something ugly. You know what I mean? The English language is ugly. Period.
Right. Now,
Black is beautiful.
hold on a second here. I'm doing a little screen adjustment there. All right. Let me ask you this. Let me say this. with a lot that's been going on lately, with the way the media has been spinning its stories, to the, from that to the, police hunt for black warriors. I've seen from social media that you have been very vocal and adamant about the circumstances of our brother who goes by Ozone
Yes, sir.
and what he's been going through. Can you share what's on your chest at the moment about that?
Well, if you guys are trying to learn more about the story, you can find them better under Othel Wallace. That's Othal Wallace. Of course, traditional spelling. One of the things that's important about this particular case is his position. You know what I'm saying? In his life is
Hmm.
very important. It's a very unique life.
Okay.
Not everyone is willing to take on the responsibilities of their communities. A lot of us are focused solely on our home, and we know when we're focusing solely on our home, we are further contributing to the white supremacy. It's important that we venture out and we engage with our community, like you were saying earlier in your video.
Yes.
So one of the reasons that it's important to get this man out of jail is because he is instrumental and pushing along this revolution. There's not a lot of people that are willing to speak, especially in today's day and age. And a lot of times when they are speaking, they're speaking about something that's negative. It'll negatively impact us. You
Yeah.
know. So it's neither here nor there whether they conspired to capture him because of who he is or whether he was just a victim of circumstance.
So,
Because we know that this happens too often. We know that this happens all too often in our community. It's
right.
happened to it's happened to myself multiple times. And the police officer that approached him, the reason he approached him in that manner is because he's used to doing it.
Hmm.
He's used to doing
Tell me
it. Okay.
something. Why do you suppose, and it's clear to many amongst the black family when they do this, why do you suppose they insist on resorting to a negative spin or negative narration when it comes to stating the facts whenever it involves, an encounter between a black person and the so-called, what do you call, public service personnel?
Mm. Well, in this case, the black community is well aware. Uh, there's a dividing line between the black community and law enforcement,
Yeah.
and it's not because we just hate law enforcement. It's because of the history of the brutalization of the people in our community.
Hmm.
So with that being said, they're gonna try to twist this narrative. They're gonna try to execute him on the media. They're gonna try to execute his character first. So you're gonna see these constant depictions with the gold teeth. You're gonna see the mug shot. You're gonna see the police officers calling him a coward. They're preparing him for his execution. So
Right.
they're desensitizing the community. They're desensitizing the community. It's the same thing as calling a black man a nigga. Like I've said, it's the same thing as calling a black woman a bitch. The
Hmm.
same the same scenario as calling a baby a fetus. They're trying to desensitize him, make him into something ugly. So when they do is exact their revenge for him defending himself, allegedly defending himself,
Yes.
then no one will care. And so it's important that as many of his brothers and sisters, the ones that he gave his life defending, the ones that he sold his motorcycle and he traveled those thousands of miles and he was at each and every one of these formations. For you guys, it's important that you know what I'm saying. We show the same effort. We return that same energy, as they like to say.
Yes, indeed. Let me ask you this. Speaking of self-defense and whatnot, a question I've been, asking lately is this: when we consider the ongoing experiences of blacks being wrongfully harassed, violated, or even killed by police officers, who do we call when the people, or who do we go to, or what actions are logical when the people are taught to call the ones who are committing the crimes? When our own life is at stake and the only choice given is either defend oneself or die. What do we do?
I've asked myself that very same question sitting in the back of a cop car when I felt that I was being kidnapped or when I felt that I was being captured and taken somewhere without my consent. A lot of the times, I believe there's somewhat around 50% of black men they actually have to fight for their innocence and they actually win their innocence. But the thing about this case specifically is that who do we call? We come from a group of men, or we learned from a group of men who taught us to police our own community. You know what I mean? The Black Panthers, they were policing their own community. and we took it upon ourselves to start to police our own community. And as you've seen it, and as it happens historically, they went after the Black Panthers for trying to do for their own community. You know, so one of the things that we have to take into consideration is they did go after Grandmaster Jay, and they said that he pointed a gun at a police officer allegedly, and they are going after Ozone because they said he allegedly shot a police officer in the head. They are trying to create a narrative of police violence to prepare you guys for the desolation of Black militia.
Yeah,
So
like
that's
I said,
something that we need to
a
keep in
hunt for
mind.
black warriors.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Yes, sir. And it is wrong.
Let me ask, by the way, for all those viewing, all those watching, if you have any questions or comments or anything of that nature that you would like to present to the brother, go ahead and drop them on the chat. Also, um, if you do have a Soul Journey of Life account, you can come up on here in this live and join us and participate, and then you can ask the brother your questions directly. Otherwise, just keep it simple if you want, and put your questions up there on the chat, and we'll read them out. You know what I mean? And the brother can break bread on that. Um, Let me say this: for those wishing to help, brother Spike, for those wishing to help as best they can, given the state of things under a systematic racist society of the day, how can we best help to ensure that Brother Ozone gets the proper representation he needs, is treated fairly while waiting, on court and all the different things like that and so on. Also, where can people contact for more information, comments, or questions? I know you said something earlier, but I wanted to kind of broaden that question a bit.
Okay, so under the circumstances, we see it all the time on Instagram, we see it on Facebook. You say something that's pro-black, and it ends up getting you on put on timeout. You know what I mean? So it's no different from a GoFundMe. They've actually stopped two of our efforts. So we are actually going underground as far as the collection efforts, and we actually have made a significant amount of progress. Okay, so we are starting to see the numbers, and we're much more effective. And there's no way that they're going to be able to freeze or seize these monies. Right now, I don't want to share it publicly on these sort of platforms in the event that they decide that they want to go after them. However, I will say that you can find me on Instagram under the_mighty_spike. And if you message me directly, I'll give you all the information that you need to make sure that you can get the funds to where they need to go, which is ozone and legal aid.
Okay. To me, it's kind of ironic, kind of
Mhm.
hypocritical with the system. 'Cause, they shot down the GoFundMe account that was set up. You know what I mean, to support the brother. But at the same time, and mind you, here's the thing, family. Even though we know this isn't the case, that they don't treat us like this, you're innocent until proven guilty. That's divine law, if you will. That's universal law. You 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 can't just say that the person did something, you understand, without knowing all the details, without having all the facts, you understand, laid out for both sides. You've got an encounter between two people. Nobody, has all the details. We have character witnesses, for example, who know the brother well and who can speak, and validate the brother's character as we see. Understand? But you have these people, who are quick to chop down the brother on live media. You understand? Quick to chop down the brother, quick to try to defame him and tear up his character. At the same time, they will boast and lift up and exalt, the GoFundMe efforts of, of the opposition, if you will. Um, so clearly that poses a challenge. You understand? It's like they say, like the old saying, the deck being stacked against, the innocent.
And one of the things that I would like to add is they are raising money for this criminal that was hospitalized during the encounter with ozone.
Hmm.
So the once again, this is all allegations. Everything that happens is allegations. However, they have a GoFundMe. They started to raise efforts in order to support this man that's laying there in the hospital. And you can say, hey, well, that's appropriate. He's a victim. But let's not forget that they also raised millions for Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
who, and you want to take into consideration the fact. Think about the family of the people that Kyle Rittenhouse murdered. Think about the family of the people that Kyle Rittenhouse maimed. And
Right.
these police and these people, including law enforcement, they raised a ridiculous amount of money to make sure that this boy is able to live the life that he needs to live, or that they'd
Okay.
like him to live. And we need to return the same energy and effort. Don't tell me
I
that the
agree.
black
Yeah.
community cannot afford to do that. Don't tell me that the black community cannot afford to do that, because they try to appeal to us in marketing. They want to advertise to the Negro because they know we
Yes.
chase the labels and the names, and they know that we'll spend the money.
Yes,
So
indeed.
don't say that we're poor people and we can't get this done. This is something that's extremely significant. And I want to say the reason why it's significant is if Ozone ends up losing this case, then that means that this police officer's actions were justified. And that also means that they might start to push legislations to where they could reintroduce stop and frisk in the Florida area. You
Mm,
know,
mm.
if we win, then it'll have the opposite effect. These police officers will know that and it should be enforced that they do not stop and touch people this way. So this could work in our favor, or it could work in their favor. It's all dependent on how active you guys are, each and every one of you guys.
So basically, this is a situation where the family needs, to be, boots on the ground, be active, stand up, you know, do what we need to do out there in the community to make sure we're doing our part. And I
Yes,
feel
sir.
the same. I feel the same exact way um, when it comes to brother GMJ situation. You understand? When it comes to making sure we're supporting that situation there, because a victory in any circumstance like this is the victory for the whole family, and it's its connotations are bigger than we can realize. You understand? It's the effects of winning such a challenge. You understand? Whether it be GMJ's situation or Ozone situation, the effects of winning are ginormous, for lack of better words. You understand? Because the thing about law is it's what do you want to say? It builds on top of each other like stones. You understand? You put that stone there, now whatever else happens after that is built on that. You understand? That's been put into effect. Um, so again, consider the brothers who are facing this challenge right now. A victory will have a long effect because they they have to um, acknowledge it. And also not just them, but we have to acknowledge such a victory and strive for the benefits that come from it. You understand? We can't put ourselves in a situation where we've done this in the past where we lose opportunity to make a difference. Somebody was talking to me the other day, about how they felt we missed the opportunity to drive hard on the home education for children. You understand? The home education for children she was talking about, and that there was a gap of time. I don't believe we lost that time yet, but she believed that there was like a big niche, if you will, of time that we should have dived in on as a family, as a people, and embraced our own education dynamic. Now, speaking of children, as we know, the brother's a father. So I have to ask you a question. We've seen based upon the images shown, you know, the children demonstrate the type that love their father. You understand, that appreciate their father. And this doesn't come as a result, contrary to what the media wants to portray, as a this isn't the result of a coward. This is the result of a father who's strong, who's caring, who's seen as a role model, you understand, who's seen as someone honorable and worthy of respect. That's what when you have children that come like that, when you see that type of gleam, that glow, you understand, that's the type of
This,
situation you have. So
this,
my question for you, brother, is to the fathers out there. What words of advice do you have for fathers out there who love their children and and may themselves have justifiable concerns about their own life, the safety of their children? You understand? Justifiable concerns as they strive hard to keep their children, their family safe. and brought up properly. What advice do you have for the fathers, the black fathers out there?
These actions or these allegations, we have to understand that if they were in fact actions taken, we have to understand that this is a father that's trying to make it home to his children. Okay,
Mm,
so when we're out there and we have our boots on the ground for people like Breonna Taylor, we have our boots on the ground like people like for people like George Floyd.
yeah.
We in the back of our minds we are understanding that these police will take our lives for anything and every single thing.
Mm,
We have that understanding that these police will take our lives for anything and every single thing. So
mm,
with that knowledge, and especially with that fire inside your heart, the you know what I'm saying, the ancestors are guiding you,
yeah.
and the dead are screaming inside your ear. You know what I'm saying? And then for you to put yourself in that, or not put yourself, but for you to be in that same exact situation, you're thinking about the fight of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, and now this man is confronting you face to face, and now he's putting his hands on you, and he's behaving questionably.
Yeah.
We have to understand that we don't know what sort of situation or what sort of thing was going through his mind in the dead of night when someone pulled up and started to grab him. But these are, once again, they're all allegations.
Mm,
Okay, so one of the things is that people are going to start to realize that if you do start to put a scope underneath us, or you do start to put a scope above us, is that a lot of us are fathers. I have 3 children of my own.
yeah.
A lot of us are fathers, and that's why we're so involved in this movement, because we understand the work that we do now, it is gonna affect our children.
Yes,
And
indeed.
if the work that we refuse to do, our children are going to have to do.
Mm,
So we need to understand that. So we see a lot of these likenesses and these images of the children with guns. You know what I'm saying? And they're preparing for this RBG lifestyle, and they're prepared to go up against their enemy and all that kind of thing. It makes my heart proud to know that we have the youth and the younger generations that are prepared, and they are studying and learning. But at the same time, I don't feel that they should have to do that. I feel
mm,
like we need to clean up right now so our babies can have a nice, full, fulfilled life, not a life of fighting, not a life of him versus them. You know what I'm saying? Or us versus them. You know what I mean?
let me ask you, brother. When I know many of us, when we started to sort of get up on our feet, boots on the ground, so to speak. When we saw like brother Grandmaster Jay marching, in Louisville and in Georgia and Lafayette. I can't ever pronounce it right. And many of us got motivated to, dust ourselves off, dust the boots off, and start getting up and standing up a little bit more. What inspired you to be more proactive in the black community as you are today?
Um, I've been fighting for so long. I've been fighting for so long, man. My name's Kente. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So growing up as a child, when we're shown roots,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and we're taught that as we're shown that as kids, because we can't get a full understanding. All we know is that we were slaves at one point in time, and the white people or the white kids that are coming up, they've learned that we are their property. You know, so I've dealt with racism. I've had to face racism my whole entire life. And I've always had to search within. And when I say search within, I mean I've always had to study Black history
yeah,
in order to reinforce myself and the ugly that I was feeling inside.
yeah.
You know, so our group has been active. My group has been active since 2K19. You
Okay.
know, but
Respect,
I've
respect.
always, if I didn't have a gun in my hand, I had a picket sign in my hand, or I had a picket sign in my hand with a gun in my pocket.
Yes.
You know, so officially, we got started in 2K19. I went out to ally with with the other militias. I'm not gonna go ahead and name them because
Yep.
the news,
Yep.
they're on that kind of crap. But we have we're like one. We're one now. Especially since Tulsa, when we got to highlight leader. The other leaders or additional leadership, and the people got to get a little bit more familiar with us.
Yes.
And it's really healthy when we're gathering together during these formations, because we're continuing to network, and we're continuing to promote and create these bonds. If it wasn't for me driving out to Lafayette, Louisiana, or if it wasn't for me to driving out to Tulsa, Oklahoma, I would have never got the opportunity to meet up with Ozone. And
That's
now,
respect. Yeah.
I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm way on the other side of the U.S. I'm way on the other side of the U.S. and I'm fighting with everything I've got. I'm fighting as hard as I've seen anybody else fight for. You know what I mean? So that's
Yep.
the importance. That's the importance of creating bonds like this, and it's important to make sure you're around people that are equally yoked.
I
You know what I'm
definitely
saying?
agree. Yeah. Let me ask you this. This kind of let's see, scholar, role model, adept, spiritual leader. Who would you say would be your like favorite or your someone that you identify as respect worthy? It could be a scholar, a particular activist, somebody notable.
I'd say Marcus Garvey. I'm completely fascinated with this story. You know what I mean? He gave birth to so many of our minds. He gave birth to so many of our brains. And
Hmm.
his life from beginning all the way up until end is as heartbreaking as his death was. I believe that it was extremely poetic, and it painted a story or a picture of what humanity is as of right now in the Black
Hmm.
community.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because we have to understand that he died of a broken heart. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
They reported him to be dead, and when he read about his own demise and he saw the reaction from the people, that's what actually broke his heart and caused his
Yeah.
death. So we got to realize that, you know what I mean, and we got to make sure that we are not the same people
That's what I
as
was
we
going to
were.
ask you. Are we any different today than how the people were in their response to the event of Marcus Garvey?
I'm so sick for the future, man.
Hmm.
I'm so sick for the future because it's just creating a spoiled culture of people.
Yeah.
So the harder it is for someone to understand that they are slaves, the harder it is to understand for someone to understand that they are in mental bondage, the harder we're gonna have to work to make sure that they want to get on board with us. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because the shackles are not on their wrist anymore; they're on their minds. So they don't believe in slavery as it exists today. You know what I mean? They're eating too well. You know what I'm saying? There's a
They're
roof over their
comfortable.
head. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's the comfort level. It's especially with the more educated people that live these lifestyles. Spoon fed, silver spoon. The children of the fathers and the mothers that had to work really hard and get them into these nice schools where they're not experiencing the same things we are.
Right.
You know. So
Okay. On there's an event planned for August 21st here in Cleveland, Ohio. I don't know if you've seen some of my posts up there on IG and YouTube, calling it the Just Be Black Gathering. And the effort is to find ways to build bridges, you understand, to become more a stronger sense of family, um, and if anything, moreover, an intellectual unity. You understand, an intellectual unification effort. I believe that we need to find ways to harmonize our communication, so that it's easier to be on code. We're often saying, "Hey, be on code, stay on code." But if everybody doesn't know the code to be on, it can get confusing, and then next thing you know, people bump heads, and or somebody says something they shouldn't, or somebody does something they shouldn't, and we're in my opinion, the fight of our life. You
yes,
understand? We're in the fight of our life, and it's ever more important that we you know, are inspired, are encouraged to pay attention, to accept that this is the reality, that this isn't some kind of fantasy, this isn't some kind of cartoon or fiction story, but this is real life, real things happening, real lives being lost, real oppression, real systematic racism going on. Um, so August 21st, I definitely would like to invite you, if you have the opportunity to come through the area, Cleveland, Ohio. um I could tell the family stay tuned to the updates so we get specifics regarding the location and whatnot. um because I definitely it would be definitely good to hear ones like you with the voice of inspiration. You understand, to communicate in a way that can affect ones your age and younger. You understand, to grow up on that code, grow up with the sense of, well, why black unity. See, one of the things that I've noticed as I've grown up is there's a body of people from amongst us who they don't believe that there's a reason for black unity or there's an importance for black unity. They believe in just, you just live your life, you just do you, whatever, and their concerns are only about their own, you know, situation. They're not concerned about the next person's. That's their business. Ain't got nothing to do with me. And we have some of that going on today. So our enemy, our opponent, if you will, is on multiple fronts. You understand? Not just from the outside, and I'm not just talking about coons. We're talking about people who just are ignorant. You understand? Just ignorant. They just don't understand why they're, standing up for the right is just as important as people already doing it. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Break down, if you can, what I'm trying to express.
Okay. I was looking for the question on that one.
Yeah, it's mixed in there somewhere. I was trying to, you know, well, let me say it this way: how can we, because one of the things that I've encountered, and even more recently than not, is the clash of communication, the clash of, there's so many differences amongst us, differences in personalities. I'm not talking about coons. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
anybody that's not about black unity. I'm talking
Yeah.
about within the family of black unity. You understand?
Mhm.
We've got divisions for, you name it, every alphabetical label reason. You
Yeah.
understand? And not only that, but because of our differences in culture and experience and upbringing, we clash over the simplest things, argue over the simplest things, become, frustrated with each other over the simplest things, and these things hinder us from an effective unification.
That's one of the things that I wanted to address. I'm definitely glad that you brought that up,
Hmm.
because this is one of the things that I want to spotlight if I haven't already done it. So me working in behavioral health as a paraprofessional in behavioral health, and me working in telecommunications for about 6 or 7 years. We're programmed to deal with certain behavior. You know what I mean? We put up with a lot of stuff for the paycheck. You know what I mean? But as a revolutionary, you got to understand that you are working for the people. So just like when that customer's on the phone and they're cursing you out and they're telling you damn your mom and all that sort of thing, you have to understand, just like you hold your tongue to protect your job, you have to hold your tongue to protect the bond in the relationship. And I'm not saying that you have to be quiet. I'm not saying that you have to speak up for you don't have to speak up for yourself. But what I am saying is that you must remain professional, just like you would be on those phones, or as you would be if you were behind that cash register. Communication is so important in our community, and I'm really starting to feel blessed with the experience that I have, or the background that I have, because I am getting a large volume of calls, and it's reminiscent of what I was dealing with when I was working in behavioral health therapy, and I was just handling a large intake of panicky, upset, and I'm not gonna say deranged. Definitely can say deranged, but these are people with different afflictions. You know what I mean? So one of the things is we have to be respectful with one another. We have to be respectful with one another, and we also have to communicate a lot better. So I did some steps on communication, and what I'm saying, and or I did a video on communication in our community. It's four simple steps. I don't know if you'd mind if I share them with you.
Go right ahead.
Um, these steps, I adapted them from working in telecommunications, and these steps are going to help you to lead a healthy conversation. Yes, lead a healthy conversation. The first step is to connect. The second step is to discover, and the third step is to recommend. The fourth step is to close. Now, when I say connect, that means build a rapport with the person that you're talking to, and especially if they're upset, you have to build a rapport by empathizing. I understand that you're upset, but this is what's going on. So connect. Number two, discover what the problem is. You know what I mean? Whatever you're faced with, whatever the disagreement is, you guys need to figure it out. Once you figure out what the problem is, you recommend the solution. You know what I'm saying? You guys build together so you could find a common ground. And then lastly, you close by pretty much farewell. you know so these are healthy communication tips. And one of the things is we can't do the messy shit. publicly. If you have a problem with someone, please be discreet as possible, because right now we are under the scope. So we see the infighting. Not only are the people watching us infight, but our people are watching us infight, and it's showing the disorganization. It's showing the toxicity in our community. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people feed off it, so that they'll see you do something messy like that, and they'll go ahead and share it. You'll inspire them. You'll provoke them to behave the same way as you, which is ugly. So we need to correct that. We need to correct that. We need to communicate effectively.
I had something I was just thinking about, and it just left me just like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that,
No,
man.
no,
It's
it
just,
happens. It happens. Um, I was thinking that hmm, I don't even remember it now. And I want to sit here frozen in time, trying to figure it out. But from what I'm hearing from you, there's definitely a brother worth respecting your efforts. That's my opinion. Um, I definitely believe that we have bigger fish to fry. In our situation. And so a lot of the things that people put in the middle of us to divide us. You understand? I'm not talking about what the shenanigans that come from the outside. I'm talking about the things, all little things, the things that the black family has, issues that we have to work with. You know, I believe we can halt those for a minute. You understand? Focus on the matters at hand. You understand? Do the things we need to do, just like you mentioned, your steps and things of that nature, and stay focused. This is a real life handle with care type situation. We've got to be careful how we move, how we walk, how we talk. You know, uh, when to talk, what to talk. On and on and on, because lives are at stake. And one false move, and it gives the opportunity for the adversary to feel like they have a chance for a one up. You understand? Next thing you know. But I've said in some live chats, I said, when is the last black blood to be drawn? You understand? How many? When is the last knee on the neck? When is the last person or black brother or sister or child to be oppressed before the black family says this is really happening? Now what are we going to do about it? And now, of course, I know in the hearts of hearts that many of us know what to do about it. But what I'm getting at here is, how can we as a people, you understand? I don't know if I'm gonna say the word patient. Be patient with each other long enough to see through our efforts for unity. You understand? Be patient long enough to be able to, like I said, we've got so many factions, so many, I mean, in in the adherence of these factions and divisions, and whether it be religiously, philosophically, politically, they're serious. They're not joking. They don't pretend to believe. I've met strong, Hebrew brothers, strong NOI brothers, strong. I've met people that are serious. They really, really want black unity. But in many cases, you see people where they won't do anything unless their name is over it, or unless
yeah.
their organization is the sponsor of it, or unless. So, how do we needle and thread this together?
Really quickly, I want to say that great leaders create leaders.
Mm,
You know, so one of the things is that we're going to continue to see each time a head springs up, they are going to chop it off. And
mm,
of course, I'm a huge advocate of popping right back up once they chop the head off. However, the more leaders are created, the more leaders that are spawning, and you don't have to be you don't have to be a certain way, you don't have to think a certain way to be a leader. It's all about just taking responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Not
yeah,
necessarily of your own life, but taking charge of the situation. You know what I'm saying? Leading the charge.
mm,
It's making the effort. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that's the one thing. And when we say how much black blood needs to be spilled, and we talk about patience and all that sort of thing, um, I want to share something refreshing with you, and also something that's refreshing to the people. We're living in a generation where we no longer have to wait.
yeah,
Everything is express. You know what I mean? You want you want your food to your door. You know what I mean? You want your packages from Amazon. You know
Uber
what I'm
Eats,
saying?
right?
You want the latest updates on the media. You know, before the news puts it out, we're seeing everything expedited. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So in my personal opinion, the last drop of blood should have been George Floyd.
yeah, yeah.
And if I have anything to do with it, the last person captured, the last drop of blood will be Ozone Wallace.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Because like I said, this legislation or our effort could actually impact the legislations, how they start to treat people. Because I've been saying for years that we need to go after their code of conduct, their code of ethics, what they believe is appropriate, what they believe is inappropriate. Once we have strict guidelines that protect our people, we will no longer have to worry about police conduct or black lives being lost to law enforcement.
okay.
Let me ask you this then. Okay, and you mentioned about leadership, and that when leaders pop up, they end up becoming basically a bullseye, a target. You
Yeah.
understand? That has to be dealt with. You understand?
Mhm.
So as a family, when we know we have leaders amongst us that we honor them, we respect them, we support their cause. You understand? We we're with them, so to speak. Wouldn't it make sense that when we are aware that we have leadership like this, that we start to put ourselves as a people in a position to watch their back? You understand?
Yeah.
As a community, so that
Most definitely.
to give you an example, with the brother Ozone, we see the video of him coming out the car, and not I don't want to say coming out the car, but being taken out the car against his will.
Mhm.
My point is, given a scenario like that, you know, in our time, it makes sense to me that we need to now take a lesson from that and be more watchful, more alert. When we know that we got activists, brothers like yourself, like many others that are what I would say on the front line. You understand? You see their face, you see that they're involved, you see they're adamant on the front line, doing what they need to do, doing the things that need to be done, speaking what needs to be spoken, acting in the way that needs to be acting, and we're aware of it. Then it means that we need to make sure that nothing happens to these brothers and sisters. You got a sister overseas or whatnot, you know what I mean, in critical condition right now, front line. You understand? But if the family is aware and alert, like, look, we know that hey, these people are on the front line. We need to uh, we need to be there for each other in that kind of way, so that they can't get these type of things off.
Yes, indeed. One of the things that I wanted to add about leadership, is that we also want to make sure that our leaders, because we're talking about rallying behind them and showing them such support, we have to make sure that our leaders are capable of supporting themselves.
Mm,
Not saying that we're going to neglect leadership, but we don't want someone that's completely reliant and completely dependent on the community. And
mm,
I damn sure don't want any leader that's going to rally everyone to him. You know what
mm,
I mean? We
mm.
want to make sure that when we're gathering, we're rallying together, that we're doing something for the community, not just for myself.
Heavy.
Much respect to everyone in leadership. I'm gonna say things. I'm gonna say things that are offensive to some people at certain points in time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
However, I do respect leadership and working very closely with leadership as of right now. Just not everyone's on board, and that's something that I just can't respect. And I do apologize if I did hurt anyone or offend anyone with some of my commentary or some of my verbiage.
Mm. It's no problem at all. Like I said, we we all have a job to do, and as a black family, we're all coming from different, perspectives. We have different, ideals that we believe will help aid this and make it succeed. And so, um, it only makes sense that, given who we are, we're not going to always. Everybody's not going to agree with everybody. You understand? Somebody's going to believe that their religious perspective, there's a solution in that, and they may be right. There's going to be somebody with a philosophical perspective, and they believe that, well, nah, there's a solution in this.
Mm,
You understand? There's somebody with some type of historical background. There's a solution in that.
yes.
But at the end of the day, I believe that our hearts have the inspiration in the right direction. It's almost like we're speaking different languages to each other, talking about the same thing. You know, if you can imagine, one person is speaking Chinese saying "Salam alaikum," peace be with you. Another person is saying it in Arabic. Another person is saying in Swahili. And you're like, what is everybody saying? We're saying peace be with you. This is kind of what's happening here. We're saying black unity. We want black unity, and here's what we should do for that effort, for that in game. And but unfortunately, we're not. It's like we're not hearing each other as a family. We're not letting our hearts open up just enough. Say, nah, wait a minute. The brother wants unity. The sister wants unity.
That's
Peace
the
and blessings for the family coming in. By the way, I want to remind you, if you have any questions for the brother or anything you would like to say, whatever, shout out, whatever, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Go ahead. Yeah, you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, I just got thrown off. I was actually planning on building off of what you're saying. Oh, there we go. I was just saying pretty much, whether religion brought you to us, whether it was political, whether it was education, whether it was social media, whatever brought you to us. The What's important is that we're all together. You
Yes.
know, and what's even more important is that we are uniting for the same cause. Isn't that special?
Yes,
You know what I
indeed.
mean? So this is something that's a rarity because it's just a display that Willie Lynch is not going to prevail over us. He intends to exploit all of these differences, and he felt like this would last for hundreds, if not thousands, of years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie, in a lot of situations, not involving us, and sometimes involving us, he's being very effective.
Yeah.
But if you're not familiar with if you're not familiar with Willie Lynch or the tactics, you know what I mean. You definitely want to just educate yourself, and if you're not reading, that's okay, because nowadays we can go on YouTube and we can find a complete audio book, or you can go wherever you need to go. So if you're too busy to read, then you could always listen, because we are in that generation where I said everything's being expedited.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what I think? I think the adversary underestimated us as a family. Why do I say that? If you look at the way things are going, and the way we respond to it, I think that they felt we would have like we would have tapped out by now. You understand, somehow, or just return to business as usual. That all they would have to do is just a few little things. Silence this brother over here. Frighten some people over there. Oh well, let's go ahead and arrest this guy who and give him 20 years, or I got it. We'll nationalize one of your favorite holidays, and everybody will just calm down. And when we're not responding the way they expected, when all that does is enrage us even more. When I'm looking at the response that the family gave when the brother was on the run. You understand? And you saw a harmonious support for his innocence in defense, and for his right to self-defense, and for his right to protect himself from a possible danger, a possible threat on his life, right? And you see this in so many different levels in our time, and I don't think that this was expected.
No, definitely not. I feel like they didn't know who they were messing with, but they definitely messed with the wrong one,
Yeah.
and ultimately they messed with a whole bunch of the wrong ones.
Yes,
You know what I
indeed.
mean? That's just point blank period, and this is all allegedly, because we don't know what he did, and we're trying to keep them we're trying to keep them as much in the dark as possible about what we're doing. But of course, it's
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
big, and of course, this is something that's unprecedented. But this is something that's happened before. If you're familiar with the history of the Black Panthers
Yeah.
and Huey Newton,
Mm.
this is something that happened before. I don't know if you guys were the whole Free Huey Newton movement or the whole Free Huey movement. You guys need to research that. You know what I mean? Because history does repeat itself, unfortunately. And and when I say history repeats itself, it goes over and over and over again. We've seen the same. We've seen the
Somebody
same
said in the
narrative.
comments here, "We don't die, we multiply."
Exactly, in a major way, and this needs to be a normal practice, because, like I said, and this is no disrespect. There's no disrespect to the elders, and this slogan, I used to hate it. We're not our ancestors,
Yeah.
but what I want to say is what I want to say in addition to that is we're not. It's not that we're not our ancestors. We won't be like our
Mm,
ancestors. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's what, because right now you know, we've been pacified. We've been pacified, and I don't mean we as in an organization. I'm talking about we as in a community.
And I
You know what I
think
mean?
there's pros and cons to that. The cons would be is that we don't possess the experience that our ancestors went through when they endured the first levels of these forms of oppression. You understand?
Mhm.
When they were fighting, giving their lives up, dying. Some people think they were just,
Yeah,
oh, let's just sit down and be passive. No, they were
yeah,
arming up, they were allying up, they were, unifying and trying
mhm.
hard to fight this opponent. Now,
Yeah.
we don't have that particular experience. And, I think if we did, we probably would be more invigorated to, respond. But what
Mhm.
we do have is the desire not to be considered less than, not to be
Mhm.
made small, not to feel like, it's kind of like, we have this, it's like saying, who do you think you are? How are you going to treat me like that? You can't just do whatever you want and say, and I'm supposed to just, that's kind of how we are. You can't just
Yeah.
tell us anything and expect us to go with it if we don't think it's something that's right.
Yes,
That's
sir.
our generation.
Yes, sir. And one of the things about our ancestors is they were a lot more productive
Yeah,
than we were. You know, as far as like you know, the education, the self education programs that we were trying to put into play. You know, policing the community is something that they had going on. You
yeah,
know, even Wick was born out of the Black Panthers
yeah,
idea.
yep. You're
So a
right.
lot of people don't know that Wick. You know,
Yeah,
and some people even make fun of one another for being on it. But that was an idea that was introduced by the Black Panthers, and a lot of us are still relying on it today. So they contributed so much to our community. So when I say we're not like our ancestors, we're not in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? A lot of good ways and a lot of bad ways. You
yes,
know what I'm
indeed.
saying? But it's time that we start to mimic a lot of what they were doing, because I do feel like we've been pacified and we've been coddled. We've been lulled to sleep, as
Yeah.
As Malcolm X once said
Mhm.
about Martin Luther King, ironically. So,
You're right. Well, brother, I want to give you the opportunity to offer your. I don't see any questions from anybody up here, so I want to give you the opportunity to offer some closing words, some words that you would like the black family to know, advice, whatever it is you would like to say to the black family before we close this out.
I just want to say, as fruitful as this conversation was, as fruitful as this dialogue was, we one of the things that I want you guys to take, the only thing, if not the only thing I want you to take from this dialogue, is Otho Wallace, Ozone. He needs our help. You know what I mean? And we have to continue to fucking, or excuse my language, we have to continue to highlight his likeness, continue to promote his name. You know what I mean? Because they are
Hmm.
trying to destroy him. So we need everybody involved, every single
Yes,
person
indeed.
involved. I know a lot of you are scared. You know what I'm saying? It's normal to it's normal to be afraid, but we shouldn't be living in fear, because if you fear paralyzes you. Fear prevents you from acting. You know what I'm saying? So if you
Yeah.
do want to get involved, if we don't know each other, just get to know me. Like I mentioned, you can find me on Instagram, the_mighty_spite. There's no unread messages in my inbox, so the moment you send me a message is the moment you'll get one back.
Yes, indeed. I definitely agree about that. That a lot, a lot of what's been going on has caused people to have a sense of fear. Some people to have a sense of fear and not um, be as responsive as we might be if we had, a little bit more courage. And then the ones that have the courage, because of that, it shrinks the ranks to where you've got bodies over here that are about that business, bodies over here that are about that business. Some people are caught in the middle; they don't know, or some people that got different things that they don't want to lose, or different things they are afraid of being damaged, something going on in their life that they will be damaged if they stand
Mm,
up. Um, and I think that one way to look at this is that whatever you have, it could be children. I'm a father as well. It could be progress. Maybe you're progressing in your life. You feel like you're succeeding. You've got a good job. You're in a good position. Whatever. But think about this: what are you willing to do to protect that?
and to keep that safe, whether it be your position, whether it be your family? What are you willing to do to make sure no harm or threat comes to any of what you've got going on that you're holding on to? What are you willing to
Yes,
do
sir.
about that?
Yes, sir. A lot of people don't know they're in a fight until they get punched.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So when I say that to say this, you guys, I say that to say this. A lot of you guys, you don't realize the importance because it has happened to you. But just consider that this could have happened to you.
Mm.
You know what I mean? This could have happened to you. It's happened to me multiple times, and it might have happened to you.
Mm.
Once
Mm.
upon a time, you just reacted differently. And I'm not saying that you reacted the right way. I'm not
Mm.
saying that Ozone reacted the right way or the wrong way. These are all allegations once again.
Yes.
But this man, it could have been you. It could
Yes.
have been you. I want you to keep that in mind when you're thinking that this doesn't deserve the attention that I think it deserves.
Yes.
You know.
You're right. With that said, I definitely believe that we as a family need to stay focused, pay attention to what's going on. Don't go to sleep. Keep your eyes and ears and your mind wide open. You understand? You know, and be close to those you love. Make sure they're safe. Make sure your children are safe. Make sure everybody's where they need to be. Know who your friends are. Know who your allies are. Just know what you need to know. Know the codes. You understand? Know what you need to know, Black family. It was definitely a pleasure to have you here, Brother Spike. And you're definitely, I definitely would welcome you again if time comes that we can talk again in the future, inshallah. And with that said, let's see here. I'm trying to think if there's anything you want to. You've given them your closing.
Hashtag
Yeah,
hands off ozone.
yeah,
Hashtag
yes,
hands
indeed.
off ozone. You want to see it everywhere. Hashtag hands off ozone. Once again.
Hashtag hands off ozone. I'll
Yes,
definitely
sir.
have that tagged in this description when this is done, of this video, for sure.
Like that.
And
Like
with that
that.
said, beloved brother, peace and blessings, shalom, and you have a wonderful rest of the day. Keep on going, keep on marching, keep on boots in the ground, keep on doing what you're doing. You definitely have my respect and honor. Peace and blessings.
Black power. Stay
Black power.
dangerous.
Mhm.
Much love.
Black family, it was a pleasure having you guys on, and it's definitely a pleasure, when we, are able to sit here and talk with, those brothers and sisters that are adamant about Black unity. You understand? It's inspirational to me. To me, it's motivational, inspirational when we meet brothers and sisters that let us know, you know, the fight's on and we ain't trying to lose. We got people out there whose hearts are in to win. You understand? And that's the perspective we have to have. That's the perspective we have to have. There's no time for cowardice. There's no time for weakness or whatnot. There's only time for standing up, being strong. If that's all you could do, if you can't do anything else, is just stand up. You understand? Stand up and put your hand up and let them know, like, look, I'm somebody that's worth being respected. I'm a people that's worth being honored. I'm a people that's worth being noticed and treated with respect. So that's what we are today. That's what we are today. And we have that right. We have that right, to feel and to manifest our life the way we are right now. We have that right. I remember I was talking to somebody today. We were talking about reparations. That was the conversation, and I was thinking to myself, even if they were to give us some kind of so-called reparations, you know, it would never amount to what they owe us. You understand? Look, even if they were to give us the entire United States, it still wouldn't equate to what they owe us. You have to understand the effect of 400 plus years of oppression, of tyranny, of murder, of hatred that's still going on to this day. You understand? This isn't something that any amount of wealth, and that doesn't say that we don't want, some type of wealth in the wet reparation. This isn't that. It's bigger than that. You understand? It's bigger than that. When you realize how much has been taken from us, you understand? I'm speaking to you in a language that's not of my people. My ancestral mother and father didn't speak this way. You understand? I'm not even able to think in the way that they were thought using these words. You understand? I have to speak in a way that doesn't fulfill what I would like to share if I had my own mother tongue. You understand? To me, that's a big deal. When I can't dance my own dance, when I can't manifest my own culture, when I can't, you know, take on the memories of our ancestors' stories in the proper way without it being skewed and distorted through, foreign texts and whatnot. To me, that is a ginormous loss. You understand? And so, even if they were to give us the entire United States, Alaska included, it wouldn't equate to what they owe us for reparations. When they could still sit here, speak their tongue, practice their culture, celebrate their days, worship the way they worship, practice they're not even, I don't even say practice their religion because they're not even practicing anything. But do what they do at the expense, you understand, of our loss. And through this time, to this day, there's not one amongst them, you understand, who's brave enough, bold enough, in a position to make a difference, in a position to influence, shot calls to say, yeah, we owe you something, and here we're going to make an effort to do it. They're too arrogant for that. They're too proud. They're too conceited for that. You understand? They're not going to do that like that. So we have to stand up for ourselves. You understand? We have to dig out this for ourselves. We have to insist, you understand, that we obtain our reparations. You understand? We have to insist. And how do you insist? When you manifest, when you're determined to be a nation. When you're determined to be a nation manifesting self-determination. And with that, that reminds me, beloved family, make sure that you mark on your calendars August 21st. Make sure that you support that GoFundMe you see at the top of the screen, the Just Be Black Gathering, or otherwise the Cash App, the light dome you see up there. Make sure that you do that so that way when August 21st comes up, which is a Saturday, that we were able to benefit from that day to the fullest we can. And, inshallah, God so willing, we reap the best results from our effort. You understand? We don't want to waste any time in vanity. We don't want to waste any time fooling around. Let's do things. Let's start getting in a habit, or for those of us that have been getting in a habit, let's continue being in a habit of doing the things that we need to do to make this happen. It's our time. It's our time to win this and succeed this. They picked the wrong generation. Plain and simple. They got the wrong generation. It's not happening anymore. This is where it stops with this generation. This is where all that, the systematic racism, the hatred, the murders, this generation is where all that ends. You better believe it. So, with that saying, Black family, let me make sure I got everything out of my system here. Let me make sure I got everything out that I need to express. Uh, there we go. So, these are the sources of contact. If you want to contact for more information about anything, you got the light dome at souljourneyoflife.com, or you can reach me at souljourneyoflife.social@gmail.com. Both of those would be a way to communicate and comment or suggest or whatever you think you want to do as a family. Like I said, we've got our work cut out for us. Every day. Now, I mean, literally, this is what it's been about. Every day you get up, we're thinking about, we're experiencing, you know, the realization that we need to do. You understand? Like the brother was talking about, we're on a instantaneous, responsive time zone. You understand? Where we need results now. You understand? It's no longer, well, we'll wait until some other month. We'll wait until no, right now. The cause, the struggle is right now. Um, so there's the info, the contact info. Um, just making sure I got everything out. Of course, I'm reminding you about August 21st, the Just Be Black Gathering, Cleveland, Ohio. You understand? I believe the location. I don't have a specific address yet. I'm still waiting for the sister to pass it to me. But I believe it'll be near the somewhere in the St. Clair area, um, St. Clair Avenue area, somewhere in that vicinity. There's some big open spaces that we might be able to use that they have some type of authority over. So stay tuned for specifics on that regard, but know that it's in Cleveland, Ohio. So make sure you got your ticket, your ride ready, whatever you need to do to come to Cleveland, Ohio on the 21st of August. And of course, like I said, you see all the information you need there. Um, that's the GoFundMe page right there. That's what we're looking like so far. And I'm only showing you that because look, we got work to do. You know, I don't think $90 is going to cover too much. We might be able to get a cheese sandwich and a wooden chair to sit on. You understand? I don't know. $90 don't cover too much, but this is for us. This is our thing. So whatever we put forth is what we're getting out of this. You understand? We don't put nothing forth, then our intellectual gathering might not be so intellectual. You understand? So you see the page right there. You see the work we need to do. Let's get it done. Let's support the cause. Let's do what we need to do. Um, Make sure, like I said, we need to keep in mind all those in the cause. Don't forget the brother GMJ. Don't forget, the GoFundMe account there. I have that too. Right here. Boom. Right there. How you like me now? So make sure you tap into that. Drop a few, drop some dollars there. You understand? Drop some dollars there. Make sure we give our respect. Don't forget about Sasha X. Don't forget about Sasha X. And like the brother said, hands off ozone. Hashtag hands off ozone. We just gonna keep every time we got something to say for every situation that happens. But eventually we ain't just gonna be saying stuff. You understand? Like I said, we need to start thinking and coming together intellectually, boots on the ground, getting the community feeling safe, protecting one another, having one another's back. If you know people in your community that are on the front line, that are talking the talk, walking the walk, out there speaking, saying what needs to be said, you need to get their back. Make sure you know that they're safe. Don't let them out there where somebody could just roll up on them and do whatever they want. Make sure the brother's safe. Make sure the sister's safe if you know they out there about that business. Don't slow them down. Don't get in the way. Don't hinder them. Make sure they safe, black family. We got a job to do. If you're gonna if you ain't gonna step up in the front like that, then protect the ones who are. Protect the ones who do. You understand? That's what we can do. We can't do anything else. That's what we can do. Well, I don't know what to do. Watch out for those that do know what to do. Have their back. So, with that said, beloved family, I definitely want to remind y'all. Don't forget about rocking the new joint, the Epic Black Journey. That's in your stores. That's in all your online stores. Go ahead, check it out. You can support the cause that way by purchasing your own MP3. You understand? The proceeds will definitely keep on going to support the overall cause. That's in all whatever store online store that sells it, Apple Store, iTunes, Spotify, whatever. With that said, we're going to wind down. Yes, indeed, Black Power. I'm looking at some of the comments here. Mostly greetings. Mostly greetings. Yes, indeed. We have to and that's something that I'm striving hard to learn because a lot of this is new to me. You understand? Like I said, it's a different platform of communication than what I'm used to. It's not your average Kutba or Friday night Nasiha or something like that. But it's where we have to be mindful what we say. We have to be alert. We want to be careful because, as I said earlier, this is a handle with care situation. How we talk, what we do, this is a handle with care situation. So we definitely want to be mindful and not shake things in a way that's counterproductive for us. We want to win. We want to succeed. You understand? When you're on the right side of history, when your cause is righteous, and believe me, this cause is probably the most righteous cause of our time. You understand? Black unification. You understand? What else is going on in the world? So yeah, this is probably the most righteous cause of our time. So we want to succeed in this. This isn't something we want to take an L with. With that said, beloved black family, I'm hoping and praying that everybody was able to benefit from the live and from our guests. And I'm hoping that that we take something from this and carry it on. Make sure you subscribe. If you're not subscribed to Soul Journey of Life, the Light Dome, subscribe. Like this video, share it. You understand? Do what you need to do to make sure that other people get the benefit from this just as well. I want to give a shout out to all the family that showed up on here. You understand? Spiritual Rising, OC, Precious, uh, Corlita, Leslie, Precious. I already said Precious. Yahya's kids, L Bigfoot, Double U, Sun Temple. Did I get everybody? Lorraine Shalom, Hotep, beloved family. There's nothing but love this way, nothing but respect and honor this way. All I could do is strive and keep doing my best. If I slip and fall, help a brother up. You know what I'm saying? Don't push my head down. Help a brother up. Help a brother up. Cause I ain't trying to stay down there. I ain't trying to stay. I want to get up too. Um, So, yes, indeed, beloved family. With that said, we're going to go ahead and dash up out of here. Until next time, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Look at your loved ones. Hug your brother. Hug your sister. Hug your wife. Hug your husband. Give your children a good squeeze. Let them know you love them. Let them know you're there for them. Let them know you got their back. You understand? Let them know. Let them know. And if you have to, go outside, turn to the right, to the left. Tell the neighbors the same thing. Let them know you got their back. You there for them, black family. We there for each other. That's how we gotta be. Salam alaikum. Shalom. Hotep. Peace be with you. This is your brother Abdul Wadud. All right.
Bye.